Hello, I'm the Archangel Daniel, and in this lesson we're going to learn about dimensions. Now, a dimension is a space, and how a dimension is made is it's where a wormhole entry point and a wormhole exit point are combined. So what we have is, in this diagram here, we have in picture 1, it shows a wormhole exit point and entry point combined within the universe. And then we see that when the two points are combined, it separates into its own dimension. So that's how a dimension is created. It's where God or Jesus or one of their descendants or someone uses wormhole element and influences it with gravity and other forces in order to produce a wormhole exit point and entry point combined, producing a dimension. The universe that we are in now is a dimension. If you want to know the order of dimensions that there are, it is the following. This universe is a dimension. Then the next dimension is called the safety dimension. The safety dimension is bigger than this universe and is empty. It is a buffer zone to all other dimensions for safety purposes. It is empty. It is full of vacuum. From there, the next dimension is the storage dimension, which we refer to as hell. The storage dimension features a dimension bigger than this universe, full of planets without stars. Each planet has gravity, a smooth rock surface, atmosphere and air, and that is all. Souls of dead creatures that are not destined for heaven go to the storage dimension. Humankind has a planet in the storage dimension where they go to when they die if they're not destined for heaven. How people live there is essentially in soul form. There is nothing to eat or drink. They cannot have sex. There is no heat. There is no light. You cannot see your hand in front of your face. They can, however, talk, and that is all. People who are villains, when they wind up in the storage dimension, there are always two archangels at that location. They receive a briefing on what the villains did, and they read it out so that everyone can hear. Everyone is grouped together at one location. Then all the people, if the person is a villain, all the people tell them to go away. The archangels, or one of them, takes the offender 14 kilometers or more away from the main group and dumps him there and disorientates him. And there the person is left on their own. The next dimension is heaven. So people believe heaven is a spiritual place. It is in fact a physical place. Spaceships can travel to heaven. This is done through the Holy Spirit. They travel into orbit, and then the Holy Spirit opens a wormhole into heaven's dimension, and then they travel from there to whichever planet they're supposed to go to. Next, dimension above heaven is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is living artificial intelligence. He is a soul brain, telepathically connected through wormhole telepathy to banks of computers that occupies more space than this dimension, than this universe, many times over. So Holy Spirit occupies several dimensions, about 12 dimensions at the moment, and can expand when necessary, when more processing and storage is necessary. The next dimensions above that are the fuel dimensions for stars. As described earlier in earlier videos, the fuel dimensions for stars are bigger than this universe, full of fuel, and there is always a wormhole in the center which uses a gravity field that encompasses the entire dimension and draws all the fuel into the wormhole and into the core of the star. Dimensions are always sphere shaped. That is the only shape of a dimension. I am the Archangel Daniel, and I am from heaven. As we can see in this diagram, it portrays the stacks of dimensions for each history. So we go further than what anyone would realize. There's more than one history. So in the first dimension, where God was created, we refer to that dimension as the holy dimension. In relation to the holy dimension, all the history's stacks of dimensions are in a straight line, starting with the first history's stack of dimensions, then the second history, all the way up to this history, which is history 1111b. So there's multiple histories. It's nothing to be alarmed about. And that is the makeup of the dimensions in relation to the holy dimension where God was created. We see evidence of this when we look at the monuments on earth, such as Stonehenge, the pyramids, the Great Wall of China, the rock cut in half in Ireland, the horses on the sides of the hills. There's 3 of them in the UK. These monuments represent discoveries that are significant in the first history, and so we remember them in this history. It is where something took place, something was discovered. It is a mystery, but is also interesting for people to look at. I was part of the team that put them there. I am the Archangel Daniel, and I am from heaven.